What's up, y'all? And welcome to another episode of the Black Kid Bag. It's your girl, Brittany.
It's your boy Dark Skin Jermaine.
Davon, aka B City Bang on him.
All right, and we have a special guest with us today. Please introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, my name's Rochelle Aguilar.
And what do you do?
Tell us a little
I
about
currently
yourself.
work for the South Carolina Department of Corrections at Perry Correctional Institution.
Welcome to the Black Kid Bag. Welcome,
Thank you.
We're going to start with our drink of the day. Good Girl Libations brings you some tequila and flavored ginger ale. So some of us have peach ginger ale. Some of us have pineapple ginger ale.
And some must have a water.
Some of us have some high quality H2O.
Yeah.
What?
All right, and the word of the day, Davon.
Why would you ask me that?
Antinomy.
Antinomy.
Oh,
See?
antinomy. Antinomy. My bad is antinomy.
And I can't hear.
Okay, antinomy is the contradiction between beliefs or conclusions that are
Logically.
logically reasonable. A paradox. Two things in conflict, yet they are valid.
Yeah. We ain't gonna never
and
get
how
that.
the word of the day used in the first 15 minutes of the show. Whoever used the word correctly, don't the other two people
have
gotta take a shot. And whoever don't use the word correctly, that person gotta take a shot.
So if you try the word in the middle of the and you don't do it right, you're gonna take a shot.
Yeah.
If you do it right, we gotta take a shot.
And you heard
It
Jermaine
usually
say
be
he
everybody,
gonna
but
take a shot.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I'm not the one who use the word. I ain't gonna lie.
he ain't gonna use it right this time, so we all gonna take a shot at this point. But so you said you are a correctional officer.
No, I'm not a correctional officer.
What
I
are
work
you?
on the admin side.
well-
I used to be a correctional officer.
So now
I
you're-
started off at the detention center back in '98. I've worked at the Women's Institution, which is Leith Correctional down in Greenwood, and now I'm currently at Perry. But I'm on the admin side now.
Okay. My
Just
bad.
got
my
back
bad.
to work, so
Oh, okay.
after a year.
What's easier for you? If you have to choose, I'll put me in the women's yard or put me in the men's yard. Do you have a preference?
I
Both of 'em
don't.
bad.
Both of them are equal. Like I used to say the males were a lot easier, but last year I got assaulted, so that has changed my mindset a bit. But had I not gotten assaulted, I would say the men are kind of easier because they're really straightforward. With the women, it's more of a lot of mind game play,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
and you have to be on your P's and Q's with them because they'll come from a standpoint of more of an emotional. So like I'm a mother, they're mothers, they'll play on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's kind of hard not to make that connection with another woman, regardless if they're an inmate or not. So a lot of times they'll use that kind of situation to kind of keep you like, okay, no, I'm not finna go there with you because now we're over on like a more personal side. And you have to keep it separate. It's just a little harder with the women, not so much with the men, because they pretty much, they gonna ask you like some outrageous stuff and you know what's appropriate, what's not. So you more could just be like, now you know I can't do that. Go ahead and go on.
Right.
They more upfront with it. With the women, not so much. They'll just start asking you about your kid. You got kids, you know. They'll start asking you that kind of stuff and get your guard down, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, my kids, you know, they don't live here. I wish I had somebody to bring me this or bring me that." So they'll try to make that connection with you. You have to stay more on your P's and Q's. Whereas with the man, they're more upfront with
They're
it.
gonna ask you
Yeah,
straight
they're
up.
gonna
They
ask you
tell you
straight
straight up.
out. You're gonna be like, "Nah,
That ain't
Yeah.
happening.
that's not happening."
So what happened when you got assaulted?
Basically, where I work at, I have inmate workers that work for me. He was the inmate worker that got fired the day prior, and so he came to the work where I work at and tried to talk to me or reason with me about why he got fired. Which I'm pretty quite straightforward when it comes to my workers. Like, be where you're supposed to be and don't steal. Which he stole, so he got fired for it. And wasn't happy about that. And he made it seem like he was gonna walk away, and he double bagged and pretty much just knocked me cold. Like I was unconscious. Thankfully, there was an officer there. Normally, I work by myself. But she was there that morning for some other stuff, and she had to fight him too until help came. And
Dang.
our other workers that were like dispersed, once they heard her screaming, they came and helped. So really, if it wasn't for the inmates, like getting him off of her and getting him up out of there, it could have been a lot worse.
What's so crazy? Because I wanted to ask you about women's safety, but I thought it would have been like an inmate, targeting a woman like safety. Like, yeah, that's crazy. But that was one of the workers.
Well,
No,
it
the workers was an inmate.
worker.
Oh,
It was an inmate worker, yeah.
then,
So where I
yeah.
work, I have
Okay.
inmates that
It
work
threw
for me,
out.
and I have another person, like a officer,
Okay.
not an officer, but another employee that normally works with me. But that person had since moved to be an officer, so I was kind of working my area alone. It just so happened that lieutenant was there that morning, asking me if I needed help.
Oh, okay.
So he really wasn't banking on somebody else being there with me.
Okay.
So thankfully she was, but she had to fight him. Like when he hit me, I hit the ground. I ended up messing up my arm. Like I had to have surgery.
Oh, wow.
I had got a concussion. Like I was out cold. Like she thought I was dead
Yeah.
when it happened because she was like, my eyes had kind of like rolled back. So she just thought
It was
that,
over.
yeah, it was
Oh,
over
gosh.
when I hit the floor. She was like, I hit the floor so hard. It was a concrete floor. She was like, Miss A, you bounced. Like, she was like, you hit it so hard that you bounced off the floor. And she just thought I was dead. Like, she just said she just went into protective mode and tried to grab him from behind. Of course, he broke loose, and she just tried to fight him until other people heard it. Because it was early in the morning.
Oh.
Like, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because
Like it was almost playing.
in the institution, it's like,
Oh, it's
you don't
playing.
get to move when you want. It's like scheduled movement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he did it when he knew it was, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wasn't going to be like out
Minimal
on the yard,
movement,
minimal
yeah.
movement and stuff like that. It just so happened like one of my inmates, like who's my biggest inmate worker, he was next door at canteen. So it was just like, it was like the perfect storm, you would say, for
Yeah.
It
him
worked
to
out,
do
even though
what he
he-
needed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I expect stuff like that to happen because I did time, so I know.
Yeah.
Because these dudes wake up different every day.
Every
And
day.
and those jobs that you talking about, they like the best job. They the job that every
Yeah.
inmate fighting to get. So when him losing that job is a big deal. It's like somebody losing like $100,000 job out here.
Right.
Is the equivalent.
Did you see yourself as safer on the admin side? Did you have like your guard was down because you were
No.
now on the admin side, or do you still?
Because I was still working on the yard.
Okay.
So it was never a point. Again, like I've been doing it since '98. So it's never been a point of me being like, oh, I thought I was special because I didn't have on a uniform. Like, oh no, they wouldn't do this to me. Yeah, they'll do it to anybody. Like I tell my inmate workers, y'all ain't got no friends in here. I hate when they say, oh, Miss A, my friend. Stop saying that. Don't say your friend. Say your bunkmate. Say your roommate. Say somebody you know. But don't say your friend because really you don't have any friends in there.
What they noob dudes or something? Ain't no way they've been doing years and think their roommate is their friend.
But
Crazy.
I don't know. But can't you develop a relationship with somebody, like being them around them?
Yeah.
Lot? Like, you get what I'm saying?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
get what I'm saying?
it be some
Like,
relationships
yeah,
in there. There
so-
be some
Yeah,
relationships.
so
Yeah.
so what I'm saying though, so say like you see this person every day, he training himself how to talk to you. He see what you saying no to, see what you saying yeah to, and then he just start playing on that. Like like I know you said be a relationship. Did they ever play a role? Like I ain't saying you was doing it, but like you had some type of feeling like dang, like just say like if they did something bad, too bad, and they sent them off, you like dang, I know you know better than that. I talk to you every day. Like, did you like some type of connection with one that you
I
feel like you
wouldn't
knew
say
better?
a connection. I'm a type of person like this. I let you hang yourself, and everybody knows me in that institution. Like I was never shied away from firing somebody if they didn't do. I only got 2 rules.
Yeah.
So you work at other places, or other places in the institution. Trust me, it's a whole lot stricter than me. So I'm just telling you to be where you're supposed to be. And don't steal my stuff, you know, in the commissary. Just don't do it.
He's
but he chose to stole, and then it wasn't even that he stole somebody in the comments said he stole something personally on mine. Like he stole my food. It wasn't even like a uniform or some chemicals or something. Like he went in my office and like violated my personal space and stole something from me. So it was a little
worse
different.
than just
because
you
I
might
never
have
had
said
nobody do that before. Now I fire people for stealing uniforms, chemicals, stuff like that. That's a given. But
he ain't supposed to get caught. That's my problem.
don't steal my food.
So what you say to somebody? Cause you been there for years. Just say somebody new, they been there like 3 years. Like what kind of advice you get them when you see they start to have a relationship with somebody? Like,
well,
you
if
just
it's
don't-
like
you
no,
be quiet about
I've
it.
had where I seen a certain situation go. She was a younger girl, and I seen because it's always a setup. Like you said, they gonna send somebody to test the water. It's like they got this whole little thing how they set you up. It ain't just a one person thing. It's usually about 3 or 4 of them. And I kind of saw where it was headed. Like he would come down in a certain area when she would be down there, and I just pulled her to the side and was like, "Hey, I'm not saying anything's going on, but what I'm seeing and what other people are gonna see, it don't look right. So you got to clean that up because if not, it could potentially lead to something that you can't get yourself out of. So if I see somebody going down, I don't care if you white or black or whatever color, if I see an officer doing something they ain't got no business doing, it don't look right. I'm going to first have that conversation with you, be like, hey, this don't look right. Now you could take heed or you cannot take heed. But when something goes down and they ask Miss A if I saw XYZ, yes, I saw XYZ, and I had to talk with her, and she chose not to, or he chose not to, because it don't always be she's, or he decided not to take heed
That money be
to
hard
that
to deny.
conversation.
Sometimes that money be hard to deny.
And it is. They tempt people with cell phones, drugs, and again, you have to think about it. When they're in jail, they don't have anything to do but to watch you. It's like a big fishbowl, and they could tell the officers that come in misheveled, not taking care of themselves. They could tell when I'm not happy. Because if they be around me every day, they know my demeanor.
Then how to pick up.
They'll
on
be
stuff.
like, "What's going on, Miss A?" And then I remind myself, "Oh, I need to tighten up." I'm like, "I'm good." I'll have to change my demeanor, but they'll be able to tell before an officer will be able to tell if I'm having a bad day or if something's going on with me. They knew I come in. It'd be something small as I had a nail broke. It like the whole nail just popped off, but I couldn't get into my nail tech for like a week and a half. She was booked up, and
They recognize that one
inmate
broken
came
nail.
up to me. He said, "Miss A, you good?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. You sure your man not getting your nails done?" Get out my face.
I love it.
Get out my face. Quit talking to me
They
because
are
you're doing too
observing
much.
everything.
When I tell you, they are so observant. Like they can tell if I don't get my nails done. They can tell me when I need a refill. Need a refill? Miss A? What? Y'all
Yeah.
they pay attention. And that's the way they get in. If they know I'm a nail girl, they'll try to start talking to me about nails. And I'm like, nah, we're not doing it. We're not having this
So
conversation.
you done had dudes try to get you
Oh, yeah.
like in a trying to romantic way and money,
way,
trying to get you bring something
money
in.
way, all different kind of ways. They will try to come at you. It's just ridiculous. And I'm just
He
like,
said you ain't meet the right one. That's how
Nah, you didn't. But listen,
going from the CEO side to the admin side. How long have you been on the admin side?
since 2020.
Since 2020.
5 years.
2020, yeah.
So was that a move you wanted to make or was something else?
Yeah,
in the play?
it was time.
Okay.
It was time. Those 12 hours will get you. Those officers are working
Oh, yeah, you
12
working
hours.
8 hours now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 8 hours. I'm Monday through Friday. I'm off every holiday.
Okay.
I'm 62. I'm out of there at 2 o'clock. I love it. So,
And you said you were at Lee and Greenwood with the women. How long?
leave.
Leith.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee.
LEA.
Because I keep saying
TH.
Lee, Lee, and I'm
No,
like,
Lee
Lee
County,
County
yeah.
somewhere else. Okay. So
Leith.
Leith down in Greenwood. How long were you there?
I was there for like a couple of years.
Isn't that where that woman who killed her kids?
Susan Smith.
Yeah.
Were you? What was it like?
She's just like any other inmate.
Like I said, was she in like protection or anything?
No, she around everybody.
She's like any other inmate. She's not the only inmate in there for
Killing her kid.
killing their children.
There's one from Orangeburg too.
Yeah, I remember seeing her.
There
story
are a
too.
few
Okay.
there, so they all get treated the same. There is no difference. They don't have to be. The only time they go on like protective custody if they feel like their life is in danger, or if it comes from like Colombia, like there's a certain situation
Gotcha.
that's going on with like different co-defendants or something like that. It has
They
to be
be
something,
telling.
yeah, that require them to be.
That's what is going
or
on.
They request it, but as far as just because you in there for a certain crime, no.
Okay. And you said you before the assault, you would say the men's prison was the easiest for you.
Yeah.
So did you make that conscious choice to go from the women's institute to the men, or it was just
Yeah.
a need there and then it was
No, I made a conscious decision. It was more money for one. My position went from just like an admin to like in a manager position.
Gotcha.
So it was more money. It was more flexibility with my schedule. And it was closer to home because I lived in Greenville.
Okay,
So I was
Yeah,
traveling to
very close to
Greenwood
them, yeah.
every day. That was an hour drive there and an hour drive back. So
Yes,
it
Yeah.
kind of, yeah.
I got you. Now, we were talking about safety. Well, thinking about safety because you were assaulted. Do the prison have things in place for you as far as like learning self protection or stuff like that? They put you through classes, or is it a part of your training to learn self defense type situation?
Yeah. So you go to the academy. Every employee will go to the academy.
Okay.
Yeah. And you have to pass physical stuff and you have to pass like written. So you have to know, like, we have a legal part. We have things we have to learn about OSHA as far as like hazards, you know, like blood hazards, blood spills, things like that.
Okay.
We have to learn how to and be able to physically, like, if something happens, I got to be able to physically move like a dead weight body. They show us different ways to do that.
Okay.
You know, if you can't lift them, certain methods that you do to pull an inmate, we have to learn how to do mouth-to-mouth CPR. We have to learn that. Doing restraints, DTs, defensive tactics. So it's not something that you just pass some, you know, test and then you're working in the prison. No.
That's okay.
But I ain't gonna lie.
Everybody has to go to
Most of them officers, they can't defend themselves.
no comment.
I'm not lying.
No
Because
comment.
I've seen a lot of them, it just be terrible. I'm like, what are you doing? But have when you say, have you seen a lot of dudes like get stabbed and stuff like that? Have you seen a lot of that kind of
I have
violence?
never, because I don't work in the
the
dorms
CO
anymore,
side,
but I
yeah.
have seen the aftermath.
The aftermath,
of
yeah.
People getting stabbed, some really bad fights. Believe it or not, the women's prison is a whole lot volatile
Yeah, women are more emotional.
than
Yeah,
because
they get into it about nothing.
we think of very creative ways to assault someone. Like with a man, as you fighting, you stabbing, you know what I'm saying? Y'all shooting a fair one. With women, like we boiling, you know, baby oil, putting grits up in it. Like we're doing a lot more.
Yeah, them grits gonna stick.
It's a lot more into.
Better mindset. We can
That's
figure
crazy.
things out.
Because on
Yeah.
TV they show you they make it seem like the women prisons are so easy to live.
No, they not.
No,
Oh, them
TV
women are
though.
crazy.
they are more. We're emotional beings,
Yeah.
so you have a lot of them that get in there. And I'm not saying that there isn't on the male side, but you have it more so on the women's side. More of them like coupling up and
They in
using-
relationships
in
and-
relationships, and when they go left, it's kind of like
They
Men
going
not
all the
in
way left.
relationships. 'Cause
Right.
They only gay for stay. When they get out, they back.
no, it's
No,
some
no,
that's
no. They gay.
Because now,
They
you
be
know,
gay.
we have like, there are transgenders in jail now. So,
So are they putting the transgender based on what gender they identify as, or
No,
from my understanding, and I
They
can
can't
only
do
speak on my
that yet.
understanding, as long as they have the male reproductive organs,
they gotta be with
still
males. Mhm.
They're
on
going to the
them,
male
they're
side.
going
Okay.
to the male prison.
so no Orange is the New Black? And
No,
keeping
that's
up
not-
their-
that's not
keeping up
real.
their meds.
That's a TV show.
No.
Listen,
Now, I believe they still have to keep up their meds and stuff. And as an officer,
okay.
like, you know, the training we have, like, we address them by their pronouns that they want. But other inmates, they do have a problem. Like, they'll say, Miss, hey, I ain't calling him this. I'm not calling him that.
He's
I'm
still
like,
a
well,
him.
you know what? Don't call them that, just call them by their last name. If
No,
their
I'm calling him him.
name is Joe, that's just call him Joe, or whatever. And then you have some people like him that just refuse to call them by their pronoun. They gonna call them him. They gonna call them by their government name, and they don't care.
That's because
On
they want the
purpose.
attention. Yeah, they want that attention.
No, we
They-
don't.
They don't
Stop
want you
it.
to forget
Stop.
them, so they're gonna call you opposite. We know this. You were taught as a little
Stop.
kid when a little boy
Stop.
hit that means he likes
Stop.
They do that sometimes.
She doing. She
Hey,
Stop.
That is what it is.
stop.
But I do have a question about. I'm sorry, man, if I cut you off. Remember the time where it was a lot going on at that one prison where they had that riot and when people were killing each other.
Lee County.
How
Lee
does that
County.
affect the other prisons or the other COs? Are you guys taking extra precaution at this point? Are you nervous going to work because you know it could very well travel? The emotions could travel.
When it comes to like riots and stuff, most of the time it's generalized to whatever's going on in that institution.
Okay.
Now, I know when they have like the executions all throughout the state, they all get locked down just to make sure that it's kind of calm and they wait, so it's like the day after
because they know
type
people.
of
'Cause
situation.
they know people in the other prisons also.
Right.
They still
And y'all
and
know where
everybody
that's coming
they know what's going on and everybody feels some type of way about it because they feel like don't nobody deserve to die
Right.
like that.
So that most recent execution is the most that one in the 2024. They were trying to get a stay. That was before that it hadn't been any in a while. So here recently with that execution, you said everything went on lockdown the day before and the day
since
after.
2024 when they first started it, because if you notice, like they're having them like every so often the
Yeah, they
executions.
picked back up like
Yeah. So each time there's an execution, there will be lockdowns. Like
But I wanna go-
nothing moves in the institutions.
I want to go back when you said the riot. Y'all didn't get locked down after the Lee County
Yeah.
riot?
Well, they did. Everybody
Oh.
got locked down.
I'm
But
a-
as far as like it spilling over like a feeling, that was just protocol. Whenever
Yeah.
there's a riot or something like that, they're gonna lock all institutions down because they got to go through their investigations, figure out one is it
Is it going
like
to
gang
spread?
related.
Well, we know it's gang related.
How did it start? Do they have? It's just like terrorism. Like
Mm-hmm.
their cells. Like is this the start of something bigger? So once they come in and do their investigations and stuff, then they'll come out. But yeah, that's protocol if it's a riot of that nature.
Okay.
To be honest, I think my assault was the first assault in like years at Perry. Like they hadn't had like an officer assault in that magnitude.
that caused a lockdown.
Yeah.
What
Everywhere
did he
I've been,
gain
it been.
extra charges.
Yeah,
off of that.
yeah, he
Oh
got
yeah, he getting street charges.
Okay,
Yeah, he getting
that's what-
street.
okay.
So what they'll do is they'll charge him with a street charge. It'll actually go to court and
You
everything.
gonna get more
like
time
that.
at it.
And
So,
he could
has he
possibly
been shipped?
get. Oh, he got
Yeah, he
shipped
gotta
that
go.
day.
He gotta go.
So,
That day they don't keep him in.
so to touch on what she's saying, I know when they were saying the dude need to be executed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when they executed the dude, a lot of people out here was saying they didn't want him to be executed and all this, right? So how you feel about like how it's, like you doing your job, but these people on the outside might think this person innocent. But since you got a job to do is it any like anywhere in between you look at it like, nah, this person guilty. Y'all just don't see it.
No, I try to stay out of that. I'm not a judge
You
or a
leave
jury.
your personal feelings
I
out of
leave
it.
my personal feelings out because once you start going in and try to figure out if this person is good, if this person is bad, it just blurs the lines and it stops you from being professional.
Takes
And
an emotional
so,
toll.
yeah, it takes an emotional toll. So once I leave there, I leave there. Like I have my workers and people will say, oh, don't mess them Miss A workers, da da da. And I'm just like, my workers like any other workers. I tell them all the time, if you get out there in that yard and you act the monkey, you go to lock up, that's you. Yeah. I'm not gonna go up there and be like, don't do that to Mr. Such and Such because he work. No. If you doing something you ain't had no business doing, you got to go. I'm not gonna. Now if you in the right,
But do you expect people to do right in prison?
I expect them to do what they need to do for themselves.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. I respect it.
I don't expect them to do right or wrong.
Yeah.
All I tell them is if it's a hustle and I can see it, it ain't a hustle.
Not a good.
That's a fact. That's a
If I can
fact.
figure it out,
I like
it ain't a
that.
hustle.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I always tell them like It's crazy. They gotta do what they gotta do. Some people don't have family that send them
Exactly.
money. They don't have people that come and visit them. They don't have a support system. They in there getting it and making it the best way they know how.
Yeah.
Goddamn,
You
man.
know,
And like what he say, like you see some people say well, when people go to jail, you'll hear them say, "Man, I'm innocent. I ain't never do nothing." That's another reason I asked that question. But I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I look at it like, well, if you in there, you done something. I know it's some people that done went to jail
it's some
innocent
people.
though. Some done went to jail innocent.
There's a few.
But like you say, when you can see the hustle, you can see
There's
it.
a whole.
but this is
You
what
get what
I
I'm
tell
saying?
people. Come back to that Facebook post that I made.
That's what I wanted to go to.
You know, these kids are out here and they don't realize I have been a juror one time, and we ended up having to sentence this man to death. He was in there already for killing somebody. He didn't get sentenced to death. And this is at a time when I took a break from SCDC, because usually when you're an officer or work for SCDC, you can't be a juror.
Okay.
So this is the time that I stepped away for a few years and went to work at Verizon. The one time I stepped away from SCDC, I got pulled for jury duty. And guess what? He killed his roommate at Perry. He went up. He's gone now. He's dead now. But he was in there for killing, like, I think his great aunt or uncle. Ended up killing his roommate, threw him on a rock, and then went back and laid down. And what people don't understand is when they were trying him for that, they had pulled his school records from when he was in elementary
Oh
school.
wow.
They pulled every referral that little boy had, all the way up through high school, his mental health issues, his counseling issues, and all that. So I say this to say this: when they start to label our children, when they start to saying your child is a problem, and usually they might not even
Gotta
a
put
problem.
them
They
in
might be
special aid.
bored. They might not be stimulated. They might not know how to
Yeah.
teach your child. They start labeling your kids. It's up to the parents to go and say, no, you're not going to label my child.
Right.
You're not just going to throw him into the wolves just because you may not know how to teach him, or you may not look into what might be a multiple issues. It may be he might be or she might be getting bullied.
Yeah.
It may be they have dyslexia and you haven't had it diagnosed yet.
Yeah.
Could be a number of things. But once you get in trouble, they're gonna bring all that stuff back up.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to your pediatrician. They're gonna go to your school records. And I'm talking about they had went all the way back to his elementary school records.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's crazy.
I didn't even know that.
I want to touch on that youth thing though, like, cause I seen you was passionate about like our people going in there at an early age. Do you seem like it's more of a trend of our young people going in there
Yes.
now? Do you feel like some of them, like, but I can tell you ain't even grow up that way. You
Jesus,
just
yes.
doing it because
These gangs, not to touch on too much about gangs, but it's just so much that these youth, like, it baffles to me. And I might talk to like some of my family members and be like, you don't want to listen to your mama, but you're gonna listen to somebody else to tell you what to do when you get in these prisons, because it's in the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just come in and you the man.
Yeah.
Like, you
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
go through the ranks. Like, you ain't just coming in there.
You're a gang member. You're
you
somebody
gonna come
running
up through those
something.
ranks. And I'm gonna tell you, the worst thing you do is get in there and F up some money or F up
You
a
gonna die.
situation. Not only, and that's the easy
real.
part, dying.
For real.
Dying is the easy part. What happens when they want to get real vindictive and they want to sell you to somebody else?
yeah, that's
So they can get real vindictive now, depending on what you done did to mess
I
up.
told you that story. Yeah, it
Yeah,
happens.
it happens.
They put
You
a
know what I'm
bounty,
saying?
say just rape them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, you mess up the money, so now we're going to go over here and we're going to sell you for, you messed up $1,000, we finna sell you for $2,000.
so
We finna get our money back plus some. Now you belong to them. Now they own you.
yeah.
But it all started, you didn't want to listen to your mama, but then you'll go in prison and listen to somebody you don't even know.
Yeah.
It baffles me how the logic.
I'm gonna tell you because
say if a young kid got locked up, right, and you knew he don't. I mean, I ain't gonna say you know, but you just felt like he don't deserve to be in here, and just say you met their parents, but their parents feel like, man, they don't listen to me. he need to go to jail. Like, what type of advice would you give that parent at that moment? What you feel like you'll say to them?
But well, I can't say nothing to them once they in the system. But
No, I'm
Okay,
talking
if they
about. Oh
stay
yeah,
in
you right.
prison,
there ain't nothing I
they
can
in
say
there.
nothing. But if I see that person in that, and I know that parent,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be real to them.
Yeah.
You don't want your baby behind them bars. You do everything you can. Get into church. Go and talk to a counselor. Talk to somebody. It's resources out here, but we feel like as Black people, one, we don't take mental health seriously. We ain't gonna talk to nobody. They don't tell me my business. They ain't gonna tell me what I feel or how I should feel. We lack the knowledge of resources. Let me tell you something. Nah. These white people will use these resources for their benefit. They don't care. They're not ashamed.
Yeah.
They will go. I have people that I know, and they will sit there and they will use every free resource they can. Ain't got the money, but if it's free, they gonna use it up. But for some reason, in the Black community, it's just so much pride that and then when you use a certain resource, you using it for the wrong reason. You want to check, then you don't need to spend the check how it's supposed to be spent on the child that need the help. You
That's
know
a
what I'm
fact.
saying? And they really don't. They get the check and they want to have the flies. Non-verbal child that is don't make no sense.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you right. I know some.
You
Yeah.
won't spend the
That's a
money on
fact.
Can't
getting.
talk, but he decked out.
Yeah, he's not articulate, but my baby got the new Jordans.
Yeah.
So
See, I was
with the-
working with a dude like that that really wanted the money, but acting like he want to help the youth. But I had to stop working with him because I wasn't me. I'm doing it because I want to help the youth.
Right.
I'm not doing it for the money, even though I'm broke and I ain't got no money. But I'm not trying to exploit my people for some money, faking like I want to help them.
Right.
So
We gotta
when
stop that.
So when you see the youth come in there like that, cause I know you passionate about it, do you feel like it can do you feel like jail can rehabilitate them?
I'm gonna say like this: there's over 900 some inmates, and you have but so many programs in one institution. It's but so much that you can do.
Yeah.
And then you have people that, yeah, they might offer GED, but I have people that don't want to get their GED. But there might be somebody else that want to get their GED and they don't qualify at the time to get their GED because there's criteria. It's like
You gotta stay out of trouble.
you got to stay out of trouble. Depends on what kind of charge you have. If you have like even the jobs that you get in there, if you've got a prior escape, you can't work certain jobs. If you got a violent crime, you can't work certain jobs. Like where I work, a lot of the times it was like, oh, when I first started working there, it was like, oh, they don't hire certain kind of people in the commissary. And I was like, well, I'm here, so I'm gonna hire who qualified. Like I bring you in, I make you do an interview and everything. I don't look at your charge first. Why you want to work down here? What can you bring to
I'm
this?
gonna work the hustle.
You know what I'm saying? What are you bringing? Because I don't know if you gonna one day get out of jail and you might need to go on an interview and you might think back, well, I remember when I interviewed for Miss A and she asked me these questions. Because like when I had a couple of female inmates, they work at Granger now. I was their reference. Like they called and asked me, did they work for me? Yeah, they worked for me. You know, they were a very good worker. They took the initiative. They was on time. They really, because you can call out of work in prison. You could be like, I ain't going today.
Yeah. Dang.
You know.
But if you
they
got
showed up,
if you
they
got a
had good
canteen
attendance.
job, ain't nobody calling out of that.
No.
Ain't nobody calling out of that.
So when it
That's the
come-
best job.
So when it comes to them trades and like you got to get your GED and all that first
Most
before
of the
you
time
even
you-
go.
They ain't really got no trades on no level 3s.
No.
I'm being honest.
Yeah. They
They
got
don't.
some. Like, I think we got brick masonry. We're supposed to be we got the stuff set up for getting your CDLs, which I was very impressed about. So they're working on that to kind of get, because they got like the simulator thing and they got everything. So it's about finding people to come and teach these classes, basically. But you got to be daggone near perfect to get into those type of programs.
So what about
That's what I was telling.
what about barbering? Like when you want to get your barbering license?
Well, I know in the women's prison they do. Because
In the
they
men's
actually have
prison, they don't have
somebody. Yeah, but in a men's prison, most of the time, because I'm over the barbers too, they, they come to me and they interview for barber. Well, did you cut hair out? I start asking them questions as far as the hygiene part and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You can kind of weed them out if it's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
something they trying to do or if they really know about barbering. So right now they don't have the classes in the
Yeah, they don't have it.
where I work. Now I can't talk for other institutions. I know when I worked at Leaf, they had a hairdresser that they can pass the state boards and everything. They have a beauty parlor. They have barbers at the women's prison. So yeah.
Yeah, cause I know this dude. He cut hair, and he used to go to the prisons and do that. I don't know the prison, but I know he used to go to one of them prisons and do it. And one of the dudes he got, like, when he left prison, he came to his barbershop, and he actually do got a job.
Yeah.
Then another dude I know, I ain't gonna say his name, but he did 10 years. He got out. He learned HVAC while he was in prison.
Yep.
He got out. Now he got his own company.
You got to be on the level 1 to do that. Though.
Yeah.
But
level 1.
yeah,
they don't have that.
and that's what I was gonna get to. Like, if you think they implemented more of that into them, like level 3s and stuff like that, you think it'll help?
It's hard because when you have level 3, you talking about people with some
They ain't
hard
going home.
charges.
Yeah.
And so and then you looking at it where it's again, it's scheduled movement and it's scheduled
got you.
movement for a reason. It's for security
I
purposes.
got
You
what
just
you're saying.
can't have 50 people in this classroom thinking like it's gonna be okay. Because what if out of the 50 you got 20 gang members
Yeah.
that are
opposite
opposite
gang.
gangs?
Yes.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
got what you're
So
saying.
it's kind of hard to maneuver. Not speaking on their behalf, but it's really hard, especially when it comes to level 3.
Yeah.
Because you have to think safety first. It's not so much as rehabilitation. You got to keep people safe.
I got what you're saying.
Not just the officers, but inmates too.
Yeah, I
Because
got what
it
you're
get
saying.
real ugly.
Do you truly think they can keep them safe? Do you think they actually trying to keep them safe?
I think they trying to stop it from anybody dying.
Let me go
I
back
will
to what
say
she
that.
said.
Because I
Go
think
back
they
to
trying to
what,
keep
let
them
me go
safe.
back to what you said. If you trying to keep yourself safe, if you trying to stop doing all the stuff you doing,
You gotta
now,
do it.
because at the end of the day, she just like the police really in there just to make sure y'all doing what y'all supposed to do.
What y'all
It's up to
doing.
y'all to not get in trouble no more.
But you
Trouble
have
got
to-
you in there.
Like I was telling
You
somebody,
can't go in prison.
I
and
know,
not
I
get in
know
trouble.
that though. I know that. I'm just saying realistically though, when a criminal do something and get caught, they always gonna blame somebody else.
let
for
me
them getting
ask you a
caught.
question now. I'm gonna speak
I'm
about
just
the
saying.
women's side. Who do you blame in this instance? You got a child that's 4 or 5 being molested and raped by somebody in her family, whether it's her father, her brother, her cousin, uncle, whoever.
Yeah.
Then at the time reaches puberty, she starts seeking something to numb that situation. So she turns to
Drugs.
drug and alcohol and things like that. In school, she don't tell nobody. So now what? She labeled, she put on the IEP. She's labeled a disruptive child. She, she can't learn. She a problem, this and this and this and that.
Yeah.
By the time she's 16, she meets somebody. He's looking at the opportunity to pimp her out now. Because he sees she wants a drug and alcohol. She got a nice body. So I'm going to go ahead and pimp her on out. So now I'm on drugs. I'm being pimped out. And I go and I commit a crime to
my
afford
pimp.
my habit. Well, for my pimp. And now I'm in prison. Who do you blame then?
I'm gonna say the only one innocent in that is that girl. She the only
But that's
one
what I'm
innocent.
saying.
But now
How
she
you
not
blamed it?
innocent
I know
because
you
she
right.
in the prison
Yeah.
system. She done did a crime. She done
Yeah.
killed somebody.
There's a
And-
system
and
that
that
failed
was-
her prior to that. Her
Right.
family, the schools, there's somewhere way back when
And I was
that failed her.
Yeah, a lot. She got failed a lot around the whole board.
Exactly.
She got failed around the whole board.
But when she in that prison system, they don't care.
but
Because
I'm
you're an
not
inmate,
gonna
you
say
committed
they're
a
not
crime.
care, but you got all these women with so many other traumatic issues going on, and before you can rehabilitate somebody, you got to address that trauma.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the times we're not equipped to deal
address
with
the
the trauma
trauma, yeah.
that somebody has experienced to get him to get him or her to that point, because it's a lot of boys being molested that we still don't know to this day because of the shame
Yeah.
of us speaking out or saying, hey, this person did something to me. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare when you have a man speak out about his molestation
Yeah.
or look at Kanye West. Everybody say he crazy. But look,
But that still was a child.
there was a
That was that was happening.
You know
to
what
him,
I'm
so It's
saying?
not okay.
But then people clowning him, or people, instead of people saying, wow, now I see
Why he
Trump-
acting
why he
so?
is the way he is, why he's acting
a
out
joke.
the
It's a
way he.
meme.
Yeah, it's a meme. It's a joke. Everybody talking about, oh, he's this and he do this, and I'm just like, wow, it is crazy in the black community.
sympathy.
We just want to sweep everything under the rug. Don't talk about what happened in this house. Don't tell. Don't say anything.
We family.
But yet, it's still we keep filling these jails.
Yep.
We keep, you have the youth. You have a program, the Youth Offenders Act. I think they 18 to 25. But it has to be a non-violent crime. It has to be like so many criteria in order for them to even get in the
little
YOA.
wild way thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember like back in the day? I ain't saying I'm old, but you remember back in the day they used to have like, it ain't hoods like it used to be. It's still hood, but not like it used to be. But they used to have stuff that come to your neighborhood, and they used to like try to help the youth stay out of trouble. Like, I ain't saying it was something like there.
Like a scared
but-
straight type program.
No, it wasn't. It was,
No, it
scared
was like
straight.
we just pick up the kids, take them to do
they
stuff.
had sharing
stuff
all
like
that
that.
type of stuff they used to come to the neighborhood
We
and get
did.
you do. They still,
But it's so much like
it is a lot going on.
it's a
now.
lot going
of
on because
distractions
you
too.
got a lot of people targeting that, like targeting the people or the kids from certain neighborhoods. How you know these people signing up ain't pedophiles?
You
They
right.
taking your kid out somewhere and they coming back and they doing something to your
That's
kids.
What, yeah.
It's hard. It's so much because with the internet, it has allowed so many things to just come into your home without your knowledge. And I feel like a lot of times as parents in this age, go play with your tablet. Go do this.
Yeah,
Instead of
they robots.
you know what I'm saying? I rarely see fathers or mothers out there with their kids playing basketball or on the soccer field or being outside with their kids. They just want to give their kids a PS5 to go and play your game. Go and do this. They got these games. You got the rape and kill to get points and stuff. And these
Rape
parents,
and kill is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I
My
don't know
grandma.
them
They
games.
playing, yeah.
They got a
you get-
rape on the games?
Yes, on
I
the,
ain't seen that. I don't
They got
know.
all
What's
kinds
it,
of
I don't
the
play no
stuff.
video
GT
games.
song?
Yeah, those.
The GT,
Grand GTA,
yeah, the
yeah.
Grand
Yeah, that's
Theft
crazy.
Auto. You
Raping
can
is
rape people and kill
not-
people and it's
I don't let my
crazy.
kids be on them tablets.
Steal
and
Steal
stuff.
cars and stuff. What y'all teaching
So
y'all
by the time they get
kids?
older,
It's embedded in
it's in
them.
their mind like that's
Yeah.
easy to do in real life.
Yeah.
Them people know what they doing. It ain't by mistake. It's by design. Yeah, exactly. They
So
think that's a
now-
normal thing to rape and kill and rob, steal.
So is the prison system
It's
all
not the
about
answer.
rehabilitation? Like, is that still a focus of theirs,
It's
or is
never
it
been
just
a
let
focus.
them do their time, pay they debt to society, and go on about your business?
I feel like I can only speak from a level 3 point. It's almost always impossible to even do that. It's so much that they can offer, but in real life, like you got to be able to pay these officers a fair wage. You got to be able to, you know what I'm saying, have enough people staffed
Yeah.
to be able to control movement the way it needs to be moved in order to offer these type of programs.
And you gotta understand, there's dudes in there just you got life sentences.
Well,
You got
those,
50
There's no. I'm
no,
not talking
but
about
we-
rehabilitation with those
she-
who have life.
She
sentences.
talking about level 3 where
But
she
not
worked at.
everybody has life sentences at a level 3.
Not, but they got something similar.
It's
40
bad,
years,
yeah.
30
Well,
years,
see,
50 years.
Someone I know was at a level 3 yard, and he only had like 3 years, and they purposely put him at that level 3 yard.
Yeah, but that's
as
rare
a-
though. That's rare.
I don't know what.
There's
they
not
called
a
it,
lot
but
of
he
people
was
with 3
doing
years on
work in
Perry.
the yard, and he would do the work outside. They would allow him to do work outside the gates type situation.
You have a few
But
that
that's
are
that's
allowed.
very rare though.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
that's a hard to
majority
get
on
job,
level
too.
3 ain't coming home for a long period of time. So that's where the issue come in at. But even at a level 2, you got people about to go home, or you got people they still don't have like those essential. I got a brick mason degree, small engine and upholstery, but nobody's gonna pay you for none of these things except for brick mason.
But you got jobs though. You got trades though. You can create your own job though. You can have your own thing.
But it's harder with small engines and upholstery because nobody's really trying to pay you to upholster that stuff.
Let me tell you,
unless
it's
it's antique.
Let me tell you, it's on.
It gotta
hard.
be antique.
Look, listen, it's only hard when you say it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's hard because I've seen it.
I was
Power
gonna
in the
say, I was just gonna say, cause I remember people looked at barbers like they don't make no money.
I
And
ain't
now
know whoever did that.
back in the day, they used to charge
ain't
like.
never seen that.
Back in the day, people. That's why all the barbers was old. Didn't nobody want to be a barber. The barbers,
Who was old?
barbers ain't start getting
Man,
young.
you just talking about
Look,
schoolboys.
for real, barbers ain't start
You-
getting
you right,
young
Jermaine.
till like 2000s. They was old cause didn't nobody want to be a barber. But now everybody want to be a barber. They like, oh, they make money now.
They been making money.
I know, but it was
He's
looked
talking
at
from
like they don't
experience.
make
You're
money
talking about
though.
from what you see.
He never not made money. What
But
are
I'm
you
just
talking
saying,
about?
he's talking from
I was a barber in the
experience.
2000s, man.
And you made money.
I
They
said-
was making money in the 90s. He said the stigma was they wasn't making money.
And back in the 90s, we only
better not
knew
be-
5 barbers, maybe. Now it's hundreds of them, thousands of them.
What I feel like is a disconnect is like you teach somebody a trade in the prison, but then when they get out, what do you have for them to connect the dots? So I feel like there's a lack or there's a disconnect. So if you have a trade in prison, there needs to be more programs outside of the prison to say, hey, this is how you can set up your LLC, or this is how you can start a business with that trade that you have. These are grants that are available to you being out, as long as you can show, and it can't just be you straight out of prison. Maybe show, you've been out a year, you haven't gotten any trouble, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. After that year, you can qualify for certain grants and things like that. So I feel like the disconnect is, okay, you did this, but now I'm out here. What is there to bridge the gap? What is there to connect the dots? So a lot of times you come out of prison, and we just did a simulation. I'm just gonna go over this right quick, and it was baffling to me. So what they did was they got the employees and the officers, and they give you a packet, and it simulates you getting out of prison. So like my packet might say I have a degree, but I stay at home with my mama. I don't have any transportation, and then they give you your schedule. Gotta report to parole. Gotta go take a piss test. Gotta go here, but then they only give you like 2 transportation tickets. So after you go to your parole, pay the money. So they might give you a couple dollars. You pay this person. Now you figure out how you gonna maneuver, how you gonna get transportation, how I'm gonna get back to parole next week, how I'm gonna get to my job, how I'm gonna do these things. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, after 1 hour of doing that simulation, there's a table called chance. Now I done ran out of money. And I done ran out of ticket. I got a degree, but I stay at home with my mom. This is my packet. This is who I am. This is the inmate I am. I looked at that table. I said, I'm going to take my chance. Guess what that chance was? Your ass going back to jail. And it was such a eye-opener for me, because I was only doing it. I had got so frustrated because I'm like, how I'm going to get here? I ran out of tickets. So I'm going over here trying to get some free transportation tickets. Now I don't miss my parole. I got to go back to work, but I'm spending all my time at work. So by the time I get off parole closed, I got to go to this place to make sure I get my food voucher. It was so frustrating, and I thought to myself, ain't no way these people doing this when they getting out of jail.
They set
but
up
you
to fail.
would be so surprised, in only an hour, and I was already to risk it all.
But see, you gotta look at it like this though.
So the stimulation came from where you work at.
When I work where we work, it was just letting
did a
like the
little-
officers know like how hard it is when somebody gets out of prison.
got
you.
It
Yeah.
ain't just like get out and it's all, oh, I'm gonna go to work now and I'm gonna do this. No,
Yeah, you think
it's
that
not
that's how
like
it
that.
is,
You
yeah.
don't have an ID. Like some of us did. I had an ID. Some of them didn't have an ID.
No ID,
So the
yeah.
first place they had to go was to DMV. They spent all day there. They missed their parole. You gotta pay the money to be on parole. Probation and stuff, you gotta pay that money. So once you pay them, then you gotta go over here to make sure you got your piss test and all this stuff. You gotta pay when you go there.
pay
You
for
gotta
that.
pay for transportation. You got. I said, honey, it was an hour.
Yeah,
I
so-
done went to the chance table, and the ticket that I pulled, taking chances, go back to jail. I said,
Just
what?
that
I
quick.
just got out.
So that's my thing. If y'all did the simulation, they know that like they ain't gonna try to.
Well, they ain't
change
giving
it.
you no gateway money. Ain't no free transportation
No, it
tickets.
ain't nothing. But
ain't
they
none
just
of that
wanted
in
to
real
show
life.
you how hard it is
It's
for
hard.
them. And it's kind of like, it kind of gave me an eye open like, dang.
This is why they come back.
This is why they come back. And not only that, this is why a lot of them don't want to leave.
Yep.
They don't
know,
have a real support system out there
They
that's
don't
gonna
even
help
have-
you
right.
stay on the straight and narrow or get on your feet. Then they have
What
to
you
take that
doing when your
chance.
brother and stuff, the only family you got, and he on drugs, and that's where you got to go, and you done beat your
Or he a
addiction
drug dealer.
for the last 10 years. You finally got clean in prison, and the only place you got to go is with your brother that you know is on drugs. What do you do?
Or a drug
Yeah.
dealer. Now
Yeah,
you,
or a drug dealer.
you know where to get the drugs. If you've been a
And
drug
he
dealer
said,
and all your
welcome you.
people
He gonna
drug
welcome
dealers,
you home.
Right.
Yeah,
so
so
it's,
it's just like-
it's like, to me, I feel like there should be some kind of bridge the gap.
Yeah, like a
When
program
you get
right there.
a
Yeah.
program, if it ain't nothing but to say, like, okay, I'm gonna start me a program where it's gonna offer transportation for inmates just getting out. I'm gonna get a grant to do this. You know what I'm saying? This is the need we have in our community, because a grant always is, you gotta show them a need in your community, what this need for. So you can get grant money, but you gotta find people that's gonna do the right thing with this
we gotta
grant
know how to
money.
write that proposal out
Right,
to get that
propose it
grant.
out to get it, but there needs to be more connections outside of prison to kind of bridge
That's
that
what I
gap.
was
So
Yeah.
it's not always falling on the rehabilitation inside, because you can teach
Outside.
somebody a trade, but how do you connect the dots once they get out?
That's
And you also
'cause
can
I
lead
got
the horse
trades
to
and I ain't
water,
connecting no
goddamn.
dots.
Yeah. But then you need to be looking at, okay, I've been on that side. Now that I'm on this side, what can I do?
Yeah.
Even if you don't have the money, you can apply for grants. You can write a proposal. It's like, hey, I want to do this with the youth. I also want to be able to provide transportation, or I want to do a transitional house. How much money can you give me to start doing this? So it's not always falling on, I hate to say it like that, the white people to offer us these things to help us.
We gotta help
we
ourselves.
gotta help ourselves.
And everybody that get grant money don't use it wrong. I think
No.
all them type of places start off the right way.
Yeah.
But I think like when you get people constantly using you and using you and using you, your mindset change. Like, man, I
That's
think
why
he
you-
playing me. I'm just gonna let him just
You
come through
definitely
here. and
have to have a
push him
heart
to the
for
side.
it, for social
Yeah, you gotta
work,
be really-
or for just community outreach. You have to have a heart for that. We just had a meeting at my institution because we have a nonprofit within SCDC, and they just told us, like, you gonna do everything that you can do, but you're not gonna be able to please everybody. And not only that, is you're gonna have people that are never satisfied and never grateful, no matter what you do or how you do it. So you have to be in that mindset of, no matter how much you offer people, no matter, it's always gonna be somebody to complain. It's always somebody that's gonna say you're not doing enough, even though they ain't doing nothing.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's what I'm
you,
saying.
you always gonna. So it comes from a place where you need to just really, right now, because I work for SCDC, I can't be that much of a bridge because it's a conflict. Like, I can't have a nonprofit out here that's gonna benefit from people that
That's
that
wrong,
are
though.
in the.
You
Could
think
you
that's
be
wrong?
an advisor though to one?
I don't know. That's something I would have to ask. I wouldn't mind doing something
But I
like
think- you don't
that.
think that's
Yeah,
wrong?
like helping because
board of directors.
you have the best insight onto what needs to be done or what these men or women need. But like you said, it's a conflict of interest for you. If someone
It
does
shouldn't
start
have
that
to
up,
be.
can you be the voice or speaking on, like, hey, that is something that would be nice because
Yeah.
you know what we need to do or what needs to be done, but we also don't want to put you in that situation.
Yeah. I think when I was telling him that I wanted to, something I already asked if I could do from my institution, like, I want to do a panel or a forum for young kids to kind of bring them in, have a couple of officers, speak to them, other people in the community that have like speak to them and try to really get into their mindsets that, what the path that y'all are going on, you can turn it around now. If we could get some of these youths to kind of just turn it around now before it gets to that point. And I was even talking to some people as starting a forum in the community of things that people can do to kind of, because I remember back in the day, I don't mean to sound old either, but if somebody was an electrician, they took somebody under their wing and they was an apprentice.
Yeah.
And
Showing
they
them, yeah.
taught them what to do. And it's kind of like we need to get back to in our communities into that mind frame, because it's the HVAC, the electrician, the plumber. That's what's making the money.
Yeah, that's where the
People
money
that's
is.
in store, you know
And
what
they
I'm
setting
saying?
their own schedule and running their own business.
But also with that, you gotta teach these kids how to set up an LLC, how to start a business. You can't just show them the trade and then just leave them out there. You gotta tell them how to set it up properly, where they can pay their taxes, they can be successful.
Yes.
It's not just the part of you learning a trade, but how to set it up so it's going to benefit you in the long run. How do you set up your legacy? What do you want to leave? It's going to be generational wealth. Like, we teaching these kids something that's going to take them further and further and further. It used to be if your daddy knew how to build houses, you knew how to build houses, and your cousins knew how to build houses, and then somebody cousin knew how to do electrical, and somebody cousin knew how to do plumbing. And we have gotten away from that so much. Like, these kids so lost, they just want to go online and make daggone videos.
Yeah, they think. I asked my little cousin, I said, what you want to be, man? You just graduated high school. He's talking about, I want to be a content creator. I said, oh my God. Is this is where your mind going? I said, you realize it's not a lot of them making money.
What content do you have? Create the content and then go from there.
My thing is, why is that your thought process?
But my thing though, to like her point though, like just say my son be playing the game. I told him, I said, man, start recording your videos and all that, and I'll help you. See, we ain't got that. I don't care what they trying to do. We ain't got that support to say, I'm going to help you do it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Show you the correct way to do it and which way to
it's about they ain't got the help.
That is right, though.
And that's one thing you just was talking about. Like, we'll put them in it, but we ain't teaching them the business part of it and how to do it.
Because you can make money off playing that video game.
Yeah,
now.
you can make money off
So
it. Now I know. Now I got to show you how to, like, post other people's names in it for they can start clicking on your video too. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what I try to teach my daughter. Like, now I've gotten into like real estate and stuff. And when I learned something the other day and I was like, okay, you in the military, what I'm going to do, because I have rental properties, once I get my property manager in charge license, I'm going to hire you. And so when you get ready to buy a house, don't buy a house, buy a 4-plex or a 6-plex. And this way you can live in one. You could use the other rent as income to get a higher loan rate. But you got to have 2 years of landlord experience. That's why I come in, because now you work for me.
So you got landlord experience.
So you'll have the landlord experience when you get ready to do it.
That's smart.
You know what I'm saying? So it's ways that we could teach our kids. And that's something I didn't know. I had to learn it. But once I learned it, I had to turn it out to my daughter. She's 26. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to set you up. You're not ready to do it right now, but I'm going to do what I need to do in my part to get you here. Once you're there, I'm going to give you that property. You can have that property. I'm going to keep this one over here. You have that. You'll manage it. On paperwork, you'll send out the notices and, you know what I'm saying, the receipts for the rent and stuff like that.
I think we need to set our kids up like white people set their kids up too. They already, our kids at a disadvantage off the rip. We need to start putting them at an advantage, if you ask me.
I think our kids at a disadvantage because of us, though.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying, when I say that, I'm saying, like, our parents, you know, they came in the drug era and stuff like that, so we didn't learn as much because of the stuff they was going through. But now we do know better. But we don't be making that decision to go ahead and show them what we know because we distracted. We distracted by the same things they distracted by. Like, we might look at them looking at a video on YouTube and be like, man, I can't believe you watching this video on YouTube. But when you watching reality TV, it's almost the same thing they watching.
Yep.
They watching somebody live and play with toys. You watching somebody live and play with
fight each
toys
other
as a grown person.
Yeah.
That's a
fact.
Yeah, and there's so much free stuff. Like, people was laughing at me last year before. I was going to every free seminar somebody had about some real estate. I was going, every last one.
I don't know why they were laughing.
And every time, you know what? They be like, well, we have this program you can, for just a low $10,000. Now, I exit left on that one and I go to the next free one. Because guess what? You gonna tell me something that this person didn't tell me. You ain't gonna tell me something that this gonna tell me. Then I'm gonna start learning stuff for myself. Then I'm gonna start connecting the dots.
That knowledge.
Combine that knowledge. I ain't finna buy no $17,000 plan when y'all giving me this stuff for free. I'm finna learn all that I can learn. Just in that 2 year span, I done learned about tax lien property.
So
Now I'm over here, got my property over here, renting it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of
I need
like
that.
you have to learn, teach yourself how to do stuff, and just take all these free. They giving it free. I'm signing up for it. They be like, "What you doing?" I said, "Girl, I'm in a seminar right now." You in another free site? Sure am.
Hey, Jake.
Take every free one they have.
and listening to the person you is when you probably learn that, you probably say, I'm gonna teach like at least somebody that's close to you. I'm gonna teach them
Let me
this.
tell you the last time. I'm gonna tell you this. I paid for a class 2 months ago. I paid for a class because it was tax lien or something, and it sounded really good, and it was somebody that took the class. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna give them $300. I spend that in hair and nails. I can make that sacrifice. Let me see what they got going on. When I paid, they said you can bring one person. I shit you not. I invited 5 different people. Ain't nobody show up. I wasn't asking for half my money back. I wasn't asking for nothing. I had already paid the class. All I wanted to do is commit to 3 days. Couldn't get not one person. I went to that class by myself.
And what black people do to you?
Couldn't get not one. Didn't ask
That's
for
stupid.
just tried to bless somebody. I said, you know what? I'm gonna be a blessing to somebody. I'm just gonna tell them, come on.
Yeah.
Just commit 3 days. I took a day off of work. I took a personal day off of work, a vacation day, just so I can go Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Didn't find nobody.
I want to get back on the nonprofit thing you was doing, right? So man, like one thing I noticed with a lot of people I know that do nonprofit organizations, for some reason it seems like none of them network with each other. Do you feel like that? Like what you trying to do your
Let
thing?
me tell you
'Cause I be
something. And
wondering
I
why
don't want
they
to throw shade at nobody, and they probably gonna come at me hard for
No
this.
shade, no tea.
But
But I'm gonna try to get everybody together. That's what I'm breaking this up. Go ahead though.
when I seen 2 different nonprofits or organizations out here fighting, like physically fighting, like a year ago or something,
Oh my gosh,
the
yes.
foolishness of it all.
We will
Yes.
talk afterwards, but baby, yes.
I saw that. And
The
in my
community was so
mind,
divided off of that because they were leaders in our community. So
leaders
yes.
and not coming, not mouth battling like they.
Leaders.
I know what you're
Like-
talking about, but we
We'll
got
talk about it off camera.
To me, wait, that was
I got you.
I was so like ashamed, disheartened. It was just so. That was a bad time.
I felt like it could have been held
Hell,
behind closed.
definitely. And instead of y'all, do you imagine how much energy it took for y'all to do that? And if y'all could have just took that energy to work together, how much better off our community would be. And now you have that, I do this, or I do more than you, or
Yeah.
I'm this person, I do more than you, and then you got this person over here, and they call him a joke, and he telling on people.
I know what you talking
and
about.
who ain't got a license or who got a license, and just condemning people instead of us coming together as a community and saying, hey, we feel like these are issues in our community. How can we help?
And
How can we make these places that these young black people want to go safer?
Yeah.
Is there anything we can do as a community? Like, how do we hold ourselves accountable before going out here and making a mockery of the whole community? And now they looking at us and we verifying to them
we don't know how to
that
act
we don't
together.
know how to act.
Yeah.
We both trying to do positive, but we out here fighting. Like I
We
got what you're saying.
we trying to do positive,
And
but we doing negative.
And they destroyed a lot of relationships they didn't even know they had.
Yep.
Cause I was like, well, I ain't following them no more.
You don't want to be associated
That's
with
how I
it.
was
Exactly.
too. I was just like,
Because they couldn't have been genuine
They
because
couldn't handle their problem behind closed doors. No matter how big it was, it should have been handled
oh my
behind
God,
closed
it was on the
doors.
steps. So where was they at in
I
front
know
of
what
the
you-
The county.
I know you talking about.
But my thing is,
Over there in county.
my thing is, we got to show these young kids we don't have to use violence to communicate.
I don't, but they grown
Yeah,
though.
you see what I'm saying?
They,
Yeah, 50 and
See,
60.
but
That's crazy.
And I think that come from even at
Their
their
own
age, a lack of
agenda.
education because they think it ain't enough money for both of they what they
It's
trying
not
to do.
supposed to be about money if you
Yeah,
want
that's
to
the
do it
problem.
for the community.
I
That's
know
why I had
it
to start
don't.
dealing with who I was dealing with.
Okay, there's like that what I'm saying like that. I be following like people on social media like they got, you know what I'm saying, nonprofit organizations. When I might go down their page and look at their friends, I be like, dang, why they ain't friends with these people? Like I'm saying, if we all connect, that's like a network. That's like a different type of network. Like if we all got together, we can have our own thing, have our own vendors. Like, and this can be a youth black networking thing for non-profit organizations. Like, and we can all piggyback off of each other. Like how you say with the trades, cause I'm pretty sure it's something out here with some trade for the youth, and then they can show them how to work with these people. And
Right.
all these people you can use to get money, to find jobs, to all kind of stuff. I always
Cause
thought
just
about
think
that.
if you had 10 barbers and each one of y'all had one apprentice, you done birthed 10 barbers
Yeah. Then they
that
done
can start their own barbershops. So it's kind of like you just
People be scared of the competition though.
but it's
It
not
shouldn't
supposed to
even
be
be a
about
Or they want to
Yeah,
be the
it
only
shouldn't be.
one.
It should. Yeah.
It shouldn't be about
It should be about just
competition.
teaching somebody else that trade to help them make money.
Guess what? If he's spending his time in his barbershop learning how to cut hair, he ain't on these streets trying to sell drugs.
Exactly.
I always looked at
That's what we need, though.
I always looked at it like the Malcolm and Martin approach. Somebody getting in somebody ill, and they just thinking instead of just, you know what I'm saying, sitting down with each other, figuring it out, cause we grown. Let's
But
talk.
that's where we learned from our ancestors when you had those tribunal committees. You learn from the Indians, they had those tribunal. You get a committee, you get a whole a network. Whereas should nothing go down in your community without addressing the, you know what I'm saying?
Even like,
Damn right.
I know you say you came from church, so even like preachers, they got their own thing where all them get together and they talk at a
But they
table
more
about
at
what they
us
doing.
than anybody.
Yeah, some of them too though.
You better know
That
it.
church is also, I
Not
ain't
some
going
of them,
that
most
church
of them.
because they
Some of
up
them
in
too,
it.
though.
I ain't
Listen.
going that church. And you have 3 different churches doing the same program instead of coming together and do one big program because they don't want to.
Way
well,
more
my
impactful.
Well, we
some
don't
of
want
them
that
too.
church. They too small or they too big or they too this and they too that. And it's crazy to me because it should be just something to where nothing should go down. But I'm going to tell you right now, when Helene hit, when I tell you I was very impressed, and I used to, I ain't gonna say talk junk about the church, but I used to be like, I don't know about the church. But they showed me, and I'm gonna tell Rock of Ages, they really hit the ground running when it came to feeding people, when they were out in their community, and then you had people again complaining, oh, they only feeding it because that's their community. That's District 25.
Yeah.
That's their community. They're feeding their community. Get in your church and your community, and then y'all
There's
start
enough of
feeding.
them in all
Listen,
these
them mega
communities.
churches wasn't.
So-
Let me shut up because I don't know for sure. But them mega churches, I wasn't hearing them open their doors saying, "Come in if you ain't got no power. Come charge your divorce. Yeah,
Yeah.
come,
Yeah.
let me feed you." No, it wasn't
Yeah.
that, and that was the time for them to show up and show
Yeah.
out as a community. But as we wrap it up, is there any advice you would give to anyone who is getting a second chance into society or people who
youth.
are accepting people back into society as second chances, as family members, friends, or things of that nature?
What I'm gonna say is, if you got somebody coming out, make sure that they're coming to a good environment. So if you got somebody coming out and you know you selling drugs, don't set them up. If you got any kind of love for them, direct them to a place where they're gonna be in a safe environment, somewhere they can thrive. I would say, as far as this youth is concerned, just get involved. Do not let them label your children. Go up to these schools.
Yeah.
You could do some, but can't nobody say you can't come and do a surprise pop up on your child.
Exactly.
Start doing surprise pop ups on your kids. Don't wait till parent teacher conferences. I tell people all the time, you should have your kids their teachers emails. Hey, even in the middle of the semester, hey, how's such and such? How Billy doing? Is there anything as his mom or his dad that I can do to help you make sure that he's thriving? Because even if he's doing okay, what can we do better? It's always strengths.
Yeah.
There's always areas of opportunities. What are his areas? What is her areas of opportunities? How can I, as his parent, help him get to where he needs to be? Ain't no child perfect. They could be the smartest kids, but they may lack being able to verbalize something or
Yep.
socialize. It could be a number of things. And then you as the parent need to start looking to, okay, how can I socialize my kid more? How can I teach them to be more articulate? It got to a point, my daughter used to hate it, but I used to make her sit there, write an essay, and then,
Recite it to you.
to me. so that she could be a better public speaker. A lot of times our children shy away from speaking in public. In order for you to be a leader, you're gonna be able to have to address
people as a whole, yeah.
Different crowds
in
and
different
everything.
crowds. You
Yeah.
need to know how to read the room.
I had to learn that. I
will
know.
teach you. It's something as simple as, I tell people all the time, if you got a teenage kid that's driving, get them a dash cam. You can buy one as cheap as $39.99.
Okay.
Teach them what to do when they getting pulled over. Both hands on the steering wheel. Asking why they're being pulled over. That should be the first question. Why did you pull me over tonight, officer? So they can get understanding. Then, but like, am I allowed to remove my hand so I can get you my license? Is in the glove compartment. Is that okay? They $39.99. You should have dash cam. Any teenager.
And let them know they being recorded, so they know.
Let them know they're being recorded.
So you can't redact nothing off your body camera.
That's
be
correct.
trying
Let
to
them
do.
know. As you were pulling me over, I called my mom and dad and let them know where I was at. You know what I'm saying? It's simple things that we do. Keep our kids safe. Try to tell them. Don't let them. The biggest thing is don't let them label your kids in these schools, because
Yep,
it starts
that's
there.
where it starts.
Because once the teacher tells your child that they are something, they're not something, that holds weight. And sometimes it holds more weight than a parent telling you the opposite.
Because they think
People
that
don't
teacher
realize-
has so much knowledge.
Yeah.
And when they say is law.
Exactly. And we need to let our kids know they are not the final say. They're
Exactly.
not going to tell you what you are. I'm going to tell you, I'm your mama. I birthed you. I'll tell you what you are and what you're not. You ain't going to listen to no stranger, somebody you just in your
That
face.
part.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are things that we need to start telling our kids. I am having a free forum. Hopefully I can do it before back to school, but I'll put it out on my Facebook page, and I want
Let
the
us know.
officers to come and speak, and different people. I'm not really sure which ones yet. To come and speak
wanna
to the
speak.
youth.
You gonna let me speak?
You come on.
I ain't gonna say nothing ignorant.
Come on.
I think he's a prime candidate because he has experience.
I had
He
experience
did
from
lose
being in
a-
prison and
a
stuff
good
like
chunk
that.
of his life, and he's
Yeah.
a great
I'll
person
be.
to be.
I think
We
you
need
need
more
these
people like
kids
you to talk to them to be
because
real.
the officer don't have. They do, but they ain't looking at. Cause some of these police I know come from the hood for real, but the youth ain't looking at these officers like you came from where I came from.
Exactly.
But the dude who been in prison and stuff, they gonna be like, you know what? I'll listen to him a little more.
Unfortunately, but
Oh, I was about to just say before we get out here, anything you feel like you'll change about the prison system if you could?
Definitely would change their approach to mental health. I think their mental health needs a big overhaul. They've done some things, but I think with mental health, and I'm not just talking somebody that's just want one of them little wind up radios. I'm talking about people that really have issues.
Wind-up radios is crazy.
Yeah, the wind up radios. If you know, you know. But
Yeah.
anyway, I think mental health. If there's anything that I would change in the prison system, it would definitely be an overhaul on our mental health.
Not just feeding medicine.
Just not feeding medicine, really addressing people's traumas, and really addressing what people have gone through to get to where they're at, to land them in prison, needs to be addressed more. That's what I would say would be the
Well, you
main
the
thing.
first person I knew that worked in SCDC that really seemed like you care. I ain't lying. I did a long time. I ain't lying. Because nobody else talks like this that I know. Now, maybe you know them, but I don't.
Yeah, man, look, I got your information on Facebook.
We
But
definitely-
we will get your information because when it comes to mental health, my wife, she getting her master's in mental health. But she have a master's in mental health.
She ain't got it. She ain't graduated yet.
Have a master's in mental
She ain't graduated yet.
And then whatever you trying to do, I know a lot of people. So, I try to get you connected with the right people also.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely,
We're going to promote it, and I want to be involved.
You would definitely be on the
Please.
panel. Make sure you're on the panel.
Thank you.
Make sure you're on the panel.
So right quick, thank you for joining us this week
You're welcome.
for another. We definitely appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all inviting me. It was
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you for joining the Black Kick Back.
The black stand for what?
Building love, authenticity, culture, and knowledge.
Yeah.
Bye.